First, I want to introduce Don Harrod. He is a fascinating fella who heads a municipal utility in Minster, Ohio. He's the village administrator, and what they have done there has been so impressive that he has been invited to speak at conferences as far away as Dubai, and we're really happy to have him come to North Carolina. He's here to talk about solar with battery storage system, and that's saving a ton of money for this small town in Ohio, and so in making his hometown a very attractive place to live and work. So, Don, thank you.
I hope everybody can hear me and understand why I look at the screens a little bit. I want to appreciate you guys for inviting us down here so we can share what we think is a pretty neat story for a very small town in west central Ohio. Where's Minster, you ask? Minster is about 50 miles north of Dayton, Ohio. West central Ohio, about 30 miles from the Indiana state line. We have a population of about 2,800 people. We are a full service community, and that means that we offer electric, gas, water, sewer services to our customers. We also have about 25 full-time employees and about $22 million worth of budget a year for our community. Little story about Minster, we got about 1,400 meters. Our electric, which we're pretty proud of, is on about 99.99% of the time. So almost 100% of the time, we're providing our customers with reliability electric. Our electric portfolio is about 32% of what we call renewables, hydro, wind, or solar. And we use about 122 million kilowatt hours a year in our community. What I want to talk about a little bit is our project, what you guys want to hear. And this project has kind of put us at the forefront of the solar and the energy storage industry in the United States. We were the first municipal electric system to be able to put together a energy storage and a solar package that's worked in the United States. And what it is a true public-private partnership. The Village of Minster has very little money invested in this project. We've done it through a third party. And what we've done is created a 4.2 megawatt solar array with a 7 megawatt energy storage, a lithium ion energy storage system that is tied behind the meter. So it's tied on our own electrical system. We worked with a developer out of Columbus, Ohio, American Renewable Energy, who started the project for us and found an investor who wanted to invest the money into the project with us and partner with us in doing energy storage. We started out looking just solely at solar, and Ohio changed the solar rec market, and we lost all interest in the investors. So we started to think outside the box. How can we re-attract some investors back to our project? And that's how we come up with the energy storage. And we found an investor that was also interested in doing energy storage. And they're called Half Moon Ventures or Half Moon Power. They're out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's a small group that we felt comfortable with, that showed interest in understanding a municipal electric system, and also took into consideration the things that the Village of Minster needed to make this project happen. So why do we choose to move forward with a project like this? As I said before, we're in a municipal electric system. Our main goal is to provide cheap, reliable power to what matters most to us. That's our customers, our owners, our residents, our businesses. We also wanted to diversify our electric portfolio to improve our sustainability, improve our resiliency, to reduce our transmission and capacity cost. If you were here for lunch and heard Bill talk about, that's one of the things that happens, when you can reduce your transmission and capacity cost with energy storage and solar. We also wanted to increase our reliability. Even though we're at 99.99%, we want that 100% if we could ever get that. And we're going to try, because we've got some other options that we can do as well. How do we make this work now? As I said, it's a true public-private partnership. Oops, did I get too far? No. It's a true public-private partnership. There are a number of agreements that we developed to make this work. One is a lease agreement with the Half Moon Power. That is basically, they are leasing the ground that the energy storage system sits on. We also came up with a power purchase agreement. This is an agreement that where the Village of Minster buys the electricity that's generated from the solar field. We are buying the electricity at the solar field on our first phase at 7 cents. That is below the average price we pay for the rest of our portfolio. So it was a very good deal for the Village of Minster. We also have an interconnection agreement. That is how the system is, the batteries and the solar is tied into our system, and explains what benefits the village gets, what benefits the investor gets out of the project. So what are those benefits? Their financial benefits, their technical benefits, and what we call community and social benefits. The financial benefits. Through the PPA, we're able to take advantage of the benefits of the solar power at a below market cost. As I said, 7 cents below what we're paying for the rest of our power portfolio. It's also a behind the meter resource, which allows the village to avoid going out and purchasing energy on the open market. Because it's tied to our system, helps us reduce that peak demand. We don't always buy all that we need. So when we reach a peak, a higher amount, we have to go out in the open market and buy that. We're now able to use that solar to offset that, to avoid going out and paying those costs as well. And the solar array acts as a hedge against market volatility. We know what that price is. So if the market changes or the market goes up and down, we know what that is, and we hedge our bet against that price. Provides the village with a electric rate that is predictable. We know what that rate is going to be for the next 25 years. It's going to be 7 cents for us. So we know what that is. It also helps us defer about $350,000 in capacitors that we were going to have to buy for reactive power. One thing we found out about the energy storage system is that it can help us keep that bell curve of the electricity perfect. And Bill can probably explain this a lot better than what I can, but it helps us keep that bell curve perfect. Ours was not perfect before we went with this system, and we were going to have to spend capacitors to help us improve that, about $350,000. So we were able to offset that cost by doing the energy storage system. We were also able to reduce our transmission and capacity costs, and I'll show you what the savings that has resulted in from the village from us doing this project in a minute. How does the developer then make money, you asked? You've seen all the benefits that the village has. How does a developer make money? He sells into a very lucrative market right now that is called the PGM's frequency regulation market, or the Reg D market. And it's a very lucrative market that they can make some of their money back that they've invested in this. But they also assume all that risk. That market could change. So they assume that risk. The village does not assume that risk. There's some technical benefits as well. The energy storage helps us integrate the solar, since it's intermediate, that will help us integrate that into our system. We're also, again, utilizing that solar to improve our power quality, helping the curve to stay perfect. What that does is help with our customers, who we have several large industrial customers in Minster, including Dannon Yogurt, the North America's largest yogurt producing plant. Has a lot of motors and things. So they like that to have that power quality just right, so it affects the motors and things like that. So this helps us be able to do that as well. We also get some commercial, or what we call community and social benefits out of it. We've diversified our electric portfolio. We now have 32% of our electric portfolio is now what we call renewables, hydro, wind, or solar. Our village council has made a commitment that we want to improve that. So this is what we're doing. We wanted to lead up to that. This is the first step in us reducing our commitment to fossil fuels, whether that is coal, natural gas. So this is our first step in doing that. It's increased our sustainability. We're becoming more sustainable, as I said before. We've also used it as an educational tool. We wanted to make this a project that involved the community and the schools. So we give educational tours. We've probably given 50, 60 tours since we put this online in December of 2016 or 2015. We've given them to school groups, we've given them to community groups to invite them out to learn what solar is, learn what the benefits of solar can do, so we can help promote that in our community. We've also tied our education curriculum. We developed education curriculum for the schools to help them understand and tie solar and the energy storage system into their curriculum. We've also developed a website where the school can actually see what that solar is producing and watch that on an average day. And we hear positive things back from the school for that. So it's really worked out well for us. It's also been good for the companies that we have. As I said before, we have Dan and Yogurt in Minster. They have sustainability goals. They have green energy goals. Nidec Minster is another company that's in Minster. They have those same goals. We're helping them meet those goals by doing a utility-sized solar array and energy storage. So that benefits them as well. How do I know this project is working? This is the proof. And this is just on our transmission and our capacity savings. What it does not cost for us to transmit that electricity, whether it's from a coal-fired plant in Pennsylvania or hydro in New York. We're not having to pay to transport the electricity that's generated from the solar to the village of Minster anymore because it's tied to our own system. So we're saving about $175,000 a year just in transmission and capacity costs. And this is not the only cost that we have, or we're saving. We're also getting our peak, our demand reduction. This year we reached 26 megawatts as our peak. Solar was producing 3 megawatts when we reached that peak. So our peak would have been 29 megawatts. We did not buy power up to that 29 megawatts in anticipation of being able to hit that number. So what we've done is reduce that, saved us money to go out. We didn't have to go out and buy power at a higher electrical rate when it's real hot out. So it saved us money. It's hard to justify those costs. We gotta have locational marginal pricing and a lot of things to justify those costs. But we're estimating that we're probably saving $300,000 to $400,000 a year in having the energy storage and having the solar tied to our system. So the system, it's worked for the village of Minster. It can work for everybody else. We're a small community. We're a small electric system. We've made it work. We've set up a model that other communities can utilize as well, not only in Ohio, but the other places in the United States. What do we learn from the project? The model has been successful, as I said. It can be used by other communities to do the same thing that we did. If a little community out in the middle of cornfields in Ohio can do it, everybody else can do it as well. You know, it just takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of research. It takes a good village council that is proactive and willing to take those risks and take those steps to make it happen. We've also found out that revenue stacking is essential, or value stacking is essential to making this project work. And what revenue stacking is, or value stacking is to be able to utilize the solar and the energy storage, all the benefits that energy storage and solar give out. You've got to be able to utilize all those, not just one of them, because if you utilize just one, it's not going to work. You've got to have benefits for everybody. There's benefits for the village, and there's benefits for the developer or the investor in the project. So it's essential to have revenue stacking to make these projects work. What are our next steps? We're actually looking at some additional solar and energy storage system. We are looking at basically reduplicating what we have. Another 4.2 megawatts of solar and another 7 megawatts of energy storage. We have a commitment from Dan and Yogurt to buy that power that's generated from the solar array to provide power to a new distribution center that Dan has built. They want to buy that power. So we're going to have that power, basically, power purchase agreement with Half Moon Power again for another 4.2 megawatts of solar, energy storage, and then turn around and sell that to Dannon. And what we're actually going to sell that to is at a rate lower than what we are actually selling it to Dannon right now, because we can save money on it. We're buying, the second phase of this is going to be at 5.2 cents per kilowatt hour for solar. So we're able to basically save money. We're going to turn around and pass that on to Dannon, because that's what we think is important to do, because we are a municipal provider of electricity. We also want to look at basically creating a microgrid. We're on the right stages to do that, and to create a microgrid to be able to operate the whole village or a portion of the village on our own electricity if we lose our connection, what I call the connection to the outside world. We have solar, we have energy storage, we're putting in more. We have some small generators that we could actually utilize as well. So we want to create a microgrid in the future. We're actually talking with Half Moon Power about installing another 19 megawatts of energy storage onto the system to help us out to be able to do that. So that's Village's ultimate goal, that's Village Council's ultimate goal, is to create that microgrid and increase that reliability to basically 100%. We're also looking at community solar as a kind of a fourth phase of this project. We want to encourage our residents to get involved with solar. So we want to provide them with a community solar program that can work with them where they can buy into a panel or buy kilowatt hours at a centrally located solar field. So that's kind of the fourth one. So that's kind of the project for the Village of Minster. Like I said, if a small community out in the middle of cornfields can do it, anybody can do this. You just got to have the wherewithal and the understanding and the initiative to go out and make this happen. It's worked well for us. It's been successful for us, and I'm sure it would be successful for everybody else. Thank you.